up? Good afternoon.
Welcome to episode 65, Smash Masters podcast.
Right. We're going to get an AARP card after getting up in these numbers, aren't we? What's up, James? How you doing, brother?
Oh, here's a guy. He made sure to pop in because we happen to be doing kind of giveaway drawing tonight. The entries are closed. You cannot enter anymore. So sorry.
Yeah, we had we had a lot of people in there that entered, but maybe forgot a few steps. So
again,
it was kind of tough to see that, but you know, it is what it is.
Just make sure you guys head to the Smash Masters page on Facebook and hit that like or follow. I don't know which button it's giving you. Facebook's weird like that. It gives you one or the other or both, whatever. Like or follow. I checked both lists. And if you didn't do that, even if you tagged 3 people, sorry.
Well,
we're trying to get the numbers up, the follower number up, you know?
Yeah, we are. And give you guys some good stuff along the way.
Right. It is fun.
Top quality tools out here. I mean, I don't even have one of these. So it's going to be some good stuff. What's up, buddy?
Nice. Well, you guys are going to have to wait till the end of the episode to get that drawing. We are ready to go to pick that. We've got only 23 people entered.
23.
So that's 1 out of 23 chance to win.
And there was a lot of tags and a lot of stuff going on this one. So
yeah, I was very impressed. I appreciate everybody who went in there, liked, comment, everything. It's
that button. Yeah, absolutely.
Hit that button. Well, we will. I even show you. There's the button. It's ready.
We have it.
It's ready.
23 people is queued up and ready to go. So this thing will be headed to one of you guys' way next week.
How's your week going?
It's been all over the place. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you guys know, but I've been currently moving. Background's a little different, so I've been setting that up and just wide open all over the place. I don't know which way I'm going, but getting it all straightened out and be back to normal scheduled programming soon. Nice. Yeah, you are in there. You are one of those. So yeah, you have a small chance or a big chance, whatever way you want to look at it.
Yep. Mr. James Bernard, known for winning a lot of stuff. So I have a feeling you have more of a chance than most people.
Yeah, we'll see.
But really you don't. So
we'll see what happens.
Anyway. Got a great show tonight. You didn't ask me what I did this week.
What did you do?
I worked.
All week? Nothing else?
Yeah. No, I've been busy. I've been doing dents every weekend, every day, during the weekends in the rain, snow. It's not snowing, but I would.
Is it raining?
I'll do it in the snow. Yeah. Lots of heat, lots of rain.
It rained today, actually.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, well, you're doing a good job out there. I mean, you booked up pretty nice now.
Yeah.
What are you booked out
to? Like almost the end of August. I mean, I'm only booking weekends, but it's I try and shove them in there, and so now I've got people that just say, "Oh, I need it fixed sooner than that." It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," you know.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's been going good. Getting lots of calls, so staying busy.
Awesome. Well, one guy that we know that stays busy down waiting on us to bring him in. So let's get in and see what he's got going on.
Yeah, bring him on in.
What's up, Noah?
What's going on?
Not too much,
Thanks
man.
for joining us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. That's another guy at the expo that watched you speak in here with us today. How you doing, Alex?
Quite a few of them, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah,
nice.
Absolutely.
It was a good time. It was good meeting people down there and everything.
Oh, I bet. Lots of networking going on for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll have to try and make it next time. It did sound like a great event.
Yeah, we're gonna next time we're gonna try to have it not in the middle of hail season, because turns out that makes it a little difficult for people to to come. But we knew what we were getting into. We knew that would be one of the kind of uphill battles of it. But we came out on top, I think. So next time, actually need to sync up with Ryan and Gene and figure out what when we're gonna do it for next time. But I'm advocating for like early March, maybe mid March, so there's enough time after MTE, but still hitting it right before hail season. We'll see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. That'll be good.
Good.
That'll be good. Yeah. So we're going to get into your story. I know you talk a lot about den ops and that kind of stuff, but we're going to kind of broaden that out a little bit and see where you started from and what your story is. I know you said it at the Hail Expo. You kind of went over to touch, but yeah, we're going to get into that and that kind of stuff. So yeah, you start where you want to, and we'll tag in along the way.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess to start at the beginning, really came from my dad. So I'm second generation in the PDR industry, and I'm straight into PDR. So I don't have a background in the body shops per se, but background in the PDR industry. So my dad was an airframes mechanic, a metalsmith in the Marine Corps, and he was actually stationed in Quantico and was working on Marine One, which is the president's helicopter. That was his last duty station before he got out of the Marine Corps.
Oh, that's some pretty wild stuff.
It's pretty sick, yeah, and actually super cool. My brother actually went into the Marine Corps quite a while after, and he also became a metalsmith, working on the same Hueys and Cobras that my dad did. My brother wasn't stationed in Quantico, but literally the same one of the same helicopters that both of them worked on. If you've ever been to the Marine Corps Museum, or if you haven't been before, it's super cool in Virginia. But they decommissioned one of those birds, I think, last year, and it was both my dad and my brother had worked on it, probably 20, 25 years apart from each other. And so if I had to guess, they're probably the only ones who have that kind of experience. So the same helicopter is going to be immortalized at the museum now. So we still have yet to get over there and check it out, but it's pretty cool. So that's how my dad started as a metalsmith there in the Marine Corps. And when he got out, actually my godfather was pushing dents, and he was like, hey, I can teach you to push dents. And it seemed it was kind of a natural, metalsmith over there. Let's go over and keep on working on metal on cars. And so he got started up in Northern Virginia with a company called Dent Masters. Not like the big company, national company or international company Dent Masters, but local Northern Virginia Dent Masters.
Okay.
The company that has the domain name dentmasters.com, the one of the OGs. And he got started there. A lot of people actually in the Northern Virginia-ish area can kind of trace their roots back to that area. So like Paul Corden, he also started over at Dent Masters there, and his brother Tim Corden, and a number of other people across the Beltway. Yeah. So he got started up there and was running route local, and just got his start. But he eventually transitioned over. They did a couple hailstorms. They got a couple hailstorms up there. It's like, this is like the DC, Northern Virginia area that I'm talking about.
Okay.
So he got kind of cut his teeth on that. That got him into the hail game a little bit, and then he started to branch out from there. So really, when I was like pretty young, he had started chasing hail and just building up his network through people like Ryan Hampton and Dent Wizard. He was one of the few non-corporate Dent Wizard guys who they would staff onto deals for a good period of time. And so him, along with a few other people who I grew up basically calling my uncles. I have probably like a dozen real and fake uncles or grandparents even in the industry, which is cool. So it's definitely like a family business for us. But I would grow up, I think I mentioned at the Hail Expo, like my mom would load me, and I have 3 siblings. She would load us up in the camper, and we would, during the summer times, just drive to wherever dad was working. Those are my first experiences of like the PDR world.
Right. Do you know how long it took him to go from not being trained to hitting the trail, so to speak? Do you have
That's
any
a
kind of?
that's a really good question. I don't know exactly how long it took him, but I know that he was working there locally at that company, Dent Masters, probably for like 8 years or so,
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
before he started. But it wasn't because he didn't want to go chase hail or anything. It's just because he was working at a local company, and then he
Yeah.
started to experience hail, a couple of good hailstorms, I think. Um, but I know he was a pretty quick study, and I know he's trained a lot of people also to push dense, specifically hail. So I know that even some of the people he's trained have gone, and it's been maybe a year, or
Mhm.
maybe 2 years of training on the road before they kind of start to do their own thing. And there's a whole process. I guess I've come to think of it, I've got to see a good number of people sort of get trained and mentored in that whole thing. I
Yeah.
would say, like, definitely the learning to push is one side of things, and especially hail, because it's like such high volume, but it's very different than your like your smashes or your some of your retail stuff that you deal with.
Mhm.
But in terms of like hail in general, your network is one of the most difficult things, just breaking into it.
I agree.
Because
Yeah.
you gotta know somebody, or you have to know somebody
Right.
who's on a deal who can get you in, and
Mhm.
so it's I definitely, thankfully for me, I got a couple of benefits. I got the benefit of being having my dad having already established a network, which was really great.
Mhm.
So I could get onto deals, but I think I was mentioning to you guys before the show, I don't actually push dents. I know how to push dents,
Right.
but I just
Mhm.
didn't pursue that as a career path. I stuck with R and I. That was my second benefit. Is
Mhm.
everywhere always needs R and I, because there's
Right.
Yeah.
always a void to fill, right? A lot of guys start in R and I, and then they learn to push dents because they follow the money, right?
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
there's always this guy who you did know who would do R and I. You'd call him, be like, ah, yeah, I push dents now. I can't do your R and I, and I'm working on a deal over here. And they're like, ah, shoot. So we
Right.
were
Mhm.
always, me and my buddy Ian, we partnered in R and I, and we were basically always, it was a very nice position to be in because we could always kind of pick where we wanted to go and work. We were
Mhm.
usually
Yeah.
vetting a couple of at least a couple different deals at a time, and then we just go to wherever the better deal was.
Yeah.
So,
What
but yeah,
if you don't mind me asking about R&I average pay?
yeah, for sure. So it completely depends on who you are and what kind of work you're working on, and I kind of categorize it
Sure.
as dealerships or like wholesale, body shops, and retail. Kind of no matter what I was doing at that time. Now this was going back to like story. I did my first dealership deal, learned when I was in high school. I think I was a sophomore or a junior, and it was
Mhm.
in Richmond, Virginia. So it was only like a couple hours away from where we lived, and that was abnormal. I will get to your question. That was
Yeah.
abnormal, but we were doing there for training. Me and my buddy were fixing cars at $10 a car, or doing the R&I at $10 a car, or
Okay.
$100 a day, whichever one was, whichever one was greater. So
Mhm.
we got a minimum of 100 a day, and then we were just like busting it to try to R&I, 10 cars, so we could get up, push how much we were making there.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so that was our first like good experience, and it was nice because we had experienced R&I guys, like dealership or like higher volume R&I guys who were there working with us, who were just showing us the ropes and everything. And I think actually my first drill, which is like a rigid brand impact driver, one of them had given it to me, and so I still have it. I still have it somewhere. But that was just like
Hmm.
kind of a cool thing. But then when I started traveling, we start setting goals. So when you're on the road, at least all the people that we would run with, most people have goals that they're setting, right? How much are
Mhm.
you trying to earn per month, or per your whole season, or for however long? And for us, different people have different motivations of being out on the road. But the
Mhm.
group that we would typically gravitate towards was really like, hey, we are here to work hard and get back home. Like, that is the goal. We're not like, yeah, we're gonna have a
Mhm.
good time while we're out here. In terms of like, if you're out, working in South Dakota, we want to go visit the Badlands or something, but not
Yeah.
not like going out partying and stuff. That wasn't our vibe. So while I was traveling working for R&I, my goal was $15,000 per month, and I would do that for as long as I could throughout the hail season. And then, once I got to the, $70,000 amount, at this time, like I was single and I was like fresh out of high school, and I was like, this is sick, and working for part of the year.
Yeah.
So that's what me and my buddy Ian would shoot for while we were doing R&I. So
not bad at all.
So tag team R&Is and that
yep.
And that's you don't even really have to push. You could go and sustain that kind of gig right now and still be successful. Right.
Well, that's why I asked, since we have so many body techs that listen to this show, and if they're looking to get out of the body shop, and that's an option, and you could work part of the year instead of the whole year.
Yeah,
that is 100% an option. Yep.
So,
I can get into any of those kinds of details. So like on dealerships, we started off when I was doing it on $50 per car, and that's really too not enough. And by the time I stopped doing dealerships, we would do them for like $100 a car. One of the things you talked about, Nick, you had mentioned before we all got on here, hard lessons learned and everything, right? So one lesson that I definitely learned is when you're working at a flat rate, like dealerships, which are going to be probably the easiest types of deals to get into because there's just a demand for them. When you're doing R&I, I should say, because it's high volume and they need more people they need to feed the techs. It's all about feeding the techs and keeping the production rolling. So one of the things that we learned was you need to leave room to come back to the table to negotiate, and not because you're trying to come back later on and just take whoever you're working for everything they're worth, but because the questions we would ask in order to vet a deal, like I mentioned, we might have 2-3 deals that we were evaluating at a time, like to determine where we were going to go to next. We'd be asking questions like, okay, what all are we going to have to do? Are we going to need to drop headliners and hood pads and deck pads? Are we going to need to be taking hoods off of cars? Are we going to need to be taking out taillights or headlights? We're gauging how much work per vehicle we're going to do. And if there's 500 cars on this dealership, however many are SUVs, however many are cars, however many are trucks, you're just thinking through like, how much work is this really going to be per vehicle, and can I do this sustainably? And so when you make a deal, like I'm going to work on these cars at $100 per car, and that entails me doing the headliners on them down and up, and the hood pad and the trunk pad. And sometimes we're going to need to help take off hoods and then the lift gates, tailgates, whatever. You're basing your numbers and you're coming to an agreement off of that. And then you're like, I'm going to drive from this part of the country all the way over to where you're at so that I could do this deal for you. Well, what almost inevitably happens is typically dealership deals, they'll set up a tent unless they got a sweet spot and there's a shop space with AC or something, which would be awesome. But no, you're probably in Texas in the middle of the summer in a tent on the blacktop working on cars that are sitting outside, which can suck. But we have your normal prep and you're put back together, right? So to stage all the cars in one section of the lot, you try to stage them all in one section of the lot and tear down a whole bunch of cars so that they're ready for the techs to pull in, or you help pull in, or whoever, so the techs can start working on it. And then you have another staging area for putting the cars back together. So what almost inevitably happens, you got your prep work or your staging or whatever, and then you have what we call the tent work. And that's just where you got techs who are like, hey, I need this taillight out or this headlight out, or they're trying to gain access in some way. And so one of the benefits of tag teaming is we can say, hey, one of us can keep on putting cars back together or prepping new cars, and the other person can just run through the tent real quick and see if there's any tent work. And we can kind of don't skip a beat. We can keep production happening. What almost inevitably happens is once one tech or team, because a lot of times people will tag team on those wholesale deals. Once one person sees you taking out a taillight for someone or taking out a headlight from someone, everybody else starts asking you to do it as well. And before you know it, you went from this deal where you agreed to do cars for X dollars to do a specified kind of amount of work. This is what you're expecting. Now, all of a sudden, you're doing 25% more, 50% more. You're doing more work, but your pay hasn't changed. So anyways, one of the hard lessons learned that took me, a probably a few years actually before I really started to think through it a little bit more, was you need to leave room to get back come back to the negotiating table, and not to try to screw the person you're working for, but to say, hey, look, I'm going to come out here to work on these terms with these expectations. But I just want to make you aware, if for some reason it turns out that I have to do a lot more than this, I have some wiggle room, but if I have to do a lot more than this, we're probably going to need to renegotiate our rate. And I just want to let you know ahead of time, so that way they're not surprised when you come back and you're like, look, I want to be helpful, but in order to keep these techs fed and to keep us rolling through this, we just have to do more work than what we initially expected. Like I said, here we are coming back in and talking about it. So
yeah, that's probably one of those things that you probably couldn't have caught had you not got the experience. Though, really, I mean,
definitely not.
Yeah,
so we all just learned from your experience there, which is great.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's good advice.
Yeah, and you could really base that kind of advice on multiple aspects of jobs, not just R&I, but anything that you're related to that. Yeah, that's a good point. So when you started, you were talking about your dad loading you up and stuff and taking you guys. What year is this that we were at? We were when you were young.
Yeah, so I was born in '96, and then Dad this was probably 2004, 2005 or so that we were going. So I mean, it was that we would start traveling and visiting the mountain during the summertime, going to where he was. And this is actually, I think, really important to note, because families, we have, obviously, like me and all my siblings, we were young, we're all 2 years apart from each other. We don't remember Dad. We don't look back at that time and just remember Dad being gone all the time. And I think part of that was because we were traveling, but hail is really difficult for a lot of families, husband, wives, and then kids as well. It can be really, really tough, because you can imagine, Dad's gone. Pushing dents, and Mom's got to take care of the whole family and everything while he's gone. But we don't personally look back at that period of our lives and think, man, Dad was really gone all the time during that. I think my parents did a really, really good job at it, and it's definitely doable, I guess. So if anybody who's listening, who's trying to figure out, how do I balance this with my family and all that, it's definitely doable. I'd say the most important thing that you can do is try to make as conscious of an effort as possible to just get in with the right kinds of people, good people who have good values and who aren't going to drag you down. Because I've also seen a lot of relationships fail on the road as well.
I'm sure, and it was probably because tension. Like, one didn't want to go this way, one wanted to go that way, and like your situation, they said, we're gonna make it work, loaded you guys up, and just went and done it. Kind of, I'm sure you went and seen some stuff, made positive notes out of it, and that's definitely what kept that alive, I would say. So that's good stuff. That's also another good point.
Absolutely. Okay, so how did you get started in the trade yourself, in any automotive trade? Where did you get started when it comes to that?
Yeah, it would have been that first dealership deal, which was I think a Ford. It was a Ford deal in Richmond, Virginia. So that was my first time coming into it, and then getting trained up in the R&I. And then it was after I graduated high school, I was actually going to community college, and studying business. And it was primarily in the summer times. I mean, it kind of worked out. I'd be like, I do school in the fall and the spring, and I try to do as many of my classes online as possible. So then if it hailed, I'm just gonna go out there and I'm gonna do hail, and I'm just gonna do my classes. I would look up I forget what it's called. I think it's called like Rate My Professor or something like that. I would pull up Rate My Professor, and if I had a choice on classes, it's other students who will rate how easy or hard a professor is. And they'll tell you things like, this one barely gives out any homework, or this one's basically just pass fail or whatever. So I'd pick the easiest professors, and I'd do as many online classes as I could, so that I could basically get the credit for it, but not have to do a whole lot. And it just go do the R&I, do the Hail instead. So have your cake and eat
that
it
works.
too.
Right.
That
Get you
works.
like an online heads up program going.
Yeah.
So what did you got a degree? What
Yeah,
did you get a degree in?
in business management. Yeah, it's just like a two year community college degree. I thought about trying to transition into a 4 year, but I was like, man, I don't think this is for me. I'm just gonna kind of wrap it up here. And my mentality is, I was like, I'm already kind of doing what I would want to do if I
Mhm.
went and I did a 4 year degree. I wanted to work with small businesses and help build small businesses. By definition small business, I mean, not like the massive corporation type stuff, but even
Mhm.
all the classes and stuff that I was going through, they would kept on referring, even though it was business management, which was supposed to be geared towards like working for local businesses, the classes, the professors kept talking about like climbing the corporate ladder and stuff, and I'm like, I have zero interest in that. I just want to work with small businesses, to do small business stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, wasn't
Do you,
wasn't the
Well,
path for me.
do you
well,
think
good on
that?
you on getting that done, though.
Yeah,
I
that's
appreciate it.
good. I mean, 2 years was good enough for that. Do you think that helped you jumpstart to be able to do what you're doing now, or do you think you could have bypassed it looking back?
I think I could have bypassed it looking back, honestly, because I think experience is has been the best teacher in
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm I'm glad I did it, I guess, just so I don't have to look back and think like, what if?
Yeah.
But like truthfully, I'm glad that I didn't put off doing more traveling, like for Hale, and learning more, just in the PDR industry and Hale industries in general, rather than just like put that off and just study and be like,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm a student, that's my job right now.
Mhm.
Which is fine. I mean, that's some people's paths, but in this, it's definitely like, I've learned way more just by going and doing the thing than I could ever have been taught, especially in this industry over at the school. I'd probably be different if it was a trade school type of a thing. But I mean, in terms of going, when when I'd be doing the R&I on like those dealership deals, right? I kind of naturally, like to accept responsibilities and do stuff right, probably to my own detriment.
Okay.
I think I maybe mentioned it like on the Hail Expo, but Ryan had only asked me if I wanted to speak at the Hail Expo, and I was like, sure. And anything else you want help with, I'll also help with that. And so then I got involved in like the organizing of it. But when we would work on dealership deals, this is just a really good example to like, I guess, paint the value of it. uh, Me and Ian we would try to show up early, and we try to stay late, and we would end up almost every deal. We would end up being the guys they would give the keys to unlock the gate in the morning, and lock everything up in the evening. We would be talking to the GMs or whoever's managing the dealership. They would almost always give us unhindered access to the key box, so we could just walk in and grab whatever keys we needed to. We could go over and we could ask any porter to do whatever we wanted, right? And so
Yeah.
it gave us this like almost a behind the scenes aspect of how these dealerships and these operations work and their management works and everything, and helped definitely build a level of confidence where now I feel like, even if I don't have anything to do with a dealership, I could probably just walk in there and act like I know what's going on,
Yeah.
and do whatever I need to. And that was similar with
That's
body
really
shops
cool.
as well, because I can remember the time when it's like you see a body shop, you see the lifts and everything, you're like, I cannot go back there. This is restricted, like
Right.
personnel only. But now I'm just kind of like, you just roll up, you're like, hey, I kind of know what everybody's up to, and I could just kind of walk around, and I'm like, I'm not going to get in your way or anything, but
Uh-huh.
I'm not afraid to walk through here in order to get over to whatever room I need to get to talk to a manager or
Yeah, that's what
something
I
like
was
that.
about to say. You know how to navigate your way to the guy that you really need to talk to, wherever
Yeah,
that's
Right.
at. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. So
Right.
it's
And
it's
yeah,
cool.
that's something that you probably wouldn't be able to be taught in any kind of school. That's more of a learning experience type thing there.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Some of the principles, like maybe, maybe, but it wasn't. Yeah, unfortunately, my school experience wasn't really like that. I know school is valuable for a lot of people, but
Yeah.
mine wasn't. I could have done it without it.
I guess it
Well,
really depends on the trade, like you said earlier.
Yes, 100%.
Yep. No, college wasn't for me. I tried and had no interest in going to class. So it was clearly not my thing. I did not finish anything there. Went to trade school, didn't miss a day, but I didn't learn anything either. So it's and I'm not the only one that's told that story, you know. So I mean, you don't learn anything until you're out and doing it, just like you said. So with auto body, I mean, yeah, I left auto body trade school thinking I knew it, you know, and it pretty much took less than a week in a real body shop to be like, probably less than a day to find, oh, I don't know anything. So and then you learn. You learn, and it's a slow process. You got to do it. So you're 100% correct. I think you were very smart keeping the experience up and not being a full-time student.
I appreciate it.
And going back to Don's,
a lot of people back. Go ahead. Sorry.
Going back to Don's comment while you're talking about that, you know, it says Billy Joe does it right. We could all learn from him. Brings his family along, homeschools, amazing kids, wife, rent a house. They get to see the, you know, countryside together. Really respect this family. So
Matt Boyette's another one who took his family wherever he went with them doing hail. Had a lot to say about that as well. So that's it seems to be a good choice.
There's also
if it works.
There's a good bit of risk to take on when doing that stuff. So I mean, you got to be prepared for that. And if you can get over those fears, it seems like it's really rewarding at the very end of it. What I'm seeing.
Yeah, definitely. You're saying just with hail in general, or you're saying traveling with a family?
Just anything really involved with that type of stuff. If you're trying to chase something, like whether it be hail or whatever kind of work or job you're trying to do in general. If everybody's on board, it makes it go a lot easier.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta have everybody on board. Your family. You gotta have the right people that you're working with. Your team. You gotta have people who aren't, you know, undermining the operation, or negativity affects everybody. Sometimes you're on deals that last a couple weeks. Sometimes you're on deals that last several months or even a year, and so it's like you just got to make sure that, like you said, everybody's on board.
That, and I feel like that some people might think that going this route might damage children at a young age to where they don't want to grow up and do something like take the stable home environment away from them. Then they won't be able to be successful themselves or something like that. But I mean, you just kind of proved the point that that's not the case at all, really. So.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of people to what Don was just talking about with Billy Joe. I met Billy Joe and his family out several years ago in Idaho. We were all working in Idaho Falls, and they do the homeschooling. I know Dan Ontrop, which is a good friend of mine and one of our business partners. He also does homeschooling. They do a lot of like nature stuff. They'll go out in their Sprinter van and take their family everywhere, and they have a cool lifestyle like that. My sister, they have a 2 going on 3-year-old who they actually took on the road with them all last year and traveling around, and it's definitely a huge, like, very rewarding, I feel like, experience if you can make it work, but it can be tough. It can be tough. And you're not always working somewhere that's like a nice place to be. You're sometimes just working somewhere because like this is just the deal I have to be on right now. But it's, you know, Shreveport, Louisiana, nobody really wants to be here.
Right.
So it just happens.
Yeah, that's that would also come with learning experience and stuff too. I mean, after you get a few of those bad deals or whatever gigs under your belt, you know how to navigate your way around some of that stuff in the future. So again, that's something that trade schools probably wouldn't teach you, or business school, college of any kind. I always go back to trade schools just because we talk about that a lot, and really everybody we talk to that goes through it says whatever. I mean, there's really a story at best. there's not really anything that somebody said, I'm so glad that I did this because it really kick-started my career. They all say, I didn't really learn anything, but I got to this next spot, and then that's when I really started learning. But I got this student debt bill that I got to pay now.
Right. Yeah. So I'm a broken record on this forever. Like I said, I didn't learn anything in trade school, but I do think it's the reason why my first production shop didn't get rid of me when they found out I don't know anything. Because I had put in the effort into a 15-month school, graduated with honors, so it's I think that proved I was more than just the guy who can't fix a fender, because that's all I was once I got in there. I didn't even have a toolbox. Like I had a red toolbox you could carry. Like that's it. So it's it was there's benefits to it, but
I'm sure it shows commitment also. Like they can just see compare you with somebody else who's coming in completely green with nothing on their resume related to automotive, and you're like, well, yeah, this is a shoe-in. Might as well. That makes a lot of sense. There's definitely some value.
Yeah, I mean I feel like that's where the value was. James is asking what my trade school cost, and this was 20 years ago. It was $35,000 for a 15-month program. So really it was 30,000 for 12 months, and then I took an extra 3 months for customization, because who didn't want to learn that kind of stuff? Plasma cutting and fabrication with metal, fiberglass.
Right.
They told me I'd work with carbon fiber in that 3 months. That's why I signed up. Didn't happen. Just more disappointments. But I mean, I got to play with an airbrush for a couple months, made a guitar out of fiberglass and a motorcycle tank out of steel. So like, it was cool. I still got that stuff. It's downstairs. So, but yeah, it's 35 grand for that. So I'm sure right now it's more like 50
to 60, probably.
That's my guess. I actually, we have, it was bought out by Lincoln Tech while I was there. So I have so many times I thought about sending them a note, because I'd love to take a tour, make a video out of it, and talk to them about my experiences with it, and maybe make something cool out of that. Cool YouTube video, if that anything. But yeah, it was a lot. I took out student loans, had to pay them off. Yeah, that was a lot. And but I was pretty damn sure that what I wanted to do was work with my hands. I didn't have anybody or any connections to the trade. No one to learn from. No one in my family did any kind of automotive work or anything like that. So that was my only option, to go to that trade school, other than just going and getting a job. That's what we always tell people, is go and just get the job, become an apprentice, and get paid to learn. That's the best way.
Skip that whole thing altogether. So I've just looked it up on ChatGPT or GPT, and it even now it's $38,000 to $50,000+ for trade school. So either if that's the case, then they have not updated anything that they teach you.
That'd be a lot,
or they were overcharging.
A lot in 20 years,
or they were overcharging.
One thing, but can you twist your microphone more pointed towards your mouth? I feel like it's kind of behind you, and you're a little quieter.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah,
much better.
Yeah.
But
right on.
Yeah, no regrets at all. No, that's for sure. It's just
it was an experience. It was an experience.
It was tough, and the hardest part of all of it, now that we're talking about it, I'm gonna say the hardest part of all of it was that I really did leave there thinking I knew my shit. So when I got into a shop and I found out I didn't, that was a deep dive. And that was a hitting rock bottom kind of deal. Like, shit, should I even be doing this? And then the next 5 years of failing to learn the trade is the whole thing. There's just more depression. Like, I can't do this. It's a hard trade to learn. I don't know if you know that. No, did you ever spend any time working in a body shop for body shop?
Yeah, so not doing body work or painting or anything like that, but working on the PDR side as like as contractors when we'd come in. So we were around all the production and everything, and
Okay.
familiar with what all was going on. And then when I got into more estimating stuff, that's when I got like way more familiar with kind of
Mhm.
the logistics and the practicalities of different repair methods and stuff outside of just PDR. But yeah, my kind of journey through the PDR and it was all through hail. I actually didn't know until just like a few years ago that most PDR, not most non-hail PDR was still not insurance claims. I just assumed everything was insurance claims because that's all I had ever really experienced. But I started in the dealerships, and then I got a taste of working inside of the body shops, and I was like, this is way better than the dealerships. And it would be, usually commission rate versus like on a flat rate per car type of a thing. And so
Right.
that was when I started to get more exposure to the body shops in general. And then it started being, a hybrid. Sometimes we'd work in the body shops, and sometimes we'd work at the PDR and PDR shops, retail shops, which there's becoming more and more retail PDR shops. But and then sometimes it was working like just getting staffed in the body shop. It's just like, hey, we're just here, staffed in the body shop, doing the PDR portion of things. Or it would be working on behalf of a local PDR company, still being staffed in the body shop. But yeah, that was my background actually, like being in and experienced around the body shops.
And that's
Yeah.
where you picked up most of your estimating knowledge.
Yeah, that's where that is where I learned to estimate was in the body shop. Was
Yeah.
in a body shop. It was a State Farm DRP shop from someone who was doing a pretty good job. Actually, so who I would travel with my dad and then also Paul and Tim Corden and then Todd Zimmerman from Carbon Tech. We were all traveling together for a little while. And I was doing R&I, and also I have like my background in for business, but also in technology. So I'm like I do software development also.
Okay.
So when we go places, I would do software development and like create management systems and stuff, so we could track our production and make sure we're getting paid the right money and keep track of paperwork and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I met someone named Cam who owns a shop out in Arizona through Todd, and we would have him scrub our estimates sometimes. That was my first experience with like scrubbing the estimates, right? Because we'd be like, the insurance company is giving us a hard time. They're saying replacement cost is this, but we know it's definitely way more than that. And so we'd be like, all right, send it over to Cam. Cam's going to go through and he's going to write this thing up right. And then I had the opportunity to actually, Cam's shop got hit with hail, and so we all came in. And at that time, I was actually not chasing. I was already started to transition out with Dentops in more of Dentops originally. Dentops originally, we started off for systems development, actually, like management systems and workflow management systems development for PDR and hail repair operations.
Oh, okay.
Which is why our name is Dentops. It's not dent estimating or estimating ops or whatever. It's dent operations. It was how we started. But I got to a place. What's up, Gene? Got to a place where I was like, man, this is a really big problem in the hail world. The right estimates, and everyone not knocking on MTRX at all, but everyone was using MTRX, and it just was not matching up with the insurance stuff. And you get so much pushback, and we'd see in the body shops, it's like we write a $6,000 estimate for PDR, and they chop us off at the knees, and they give us $3,000. And then the same body shop we're working in, writes a $20,000 estimate for like a quarter side replacement or quarter panel replacement or something, and that the insurance company doesn't always just pay them, but a lot of times from what we were seeing, we were like, they're just paying them. Like, what's going on here? And so that's kind of was the light bulb thing on, honestly, just CCC being the big, at least 50% of our problem was that these systems didn't match up. They weren't lining up. So at that time, I was not actually chasing, but they needed help in the front office, and I had already determined, I was like, I need to learn CCC and I need to learn estimating. We need to make this a core part of what we're doing at Dentops. And so I had made a deal with them that I was like, hey, look, if I will come and I will help you, unstick whatever's going on. I'll help you unlock the workflow. So because obviously the techs and my friends and family who are working there, they want to work on more cars. But if the front office is getting bogged down, it's not going to happen. And if they're not getting claim approvals, they're not even getting claims submitted, it's not going to happen. So I was like, I will come out there if you guarantee that a part of me coming out there is going to be that I'm going to learn how to estimate. And learn how to write in CCC, because again, Cam was the guy we were sending these estimates to in order to get them scrubbed. And so they were like, yep, we can do that, guarantee it. And so I went out there. That was in actually Prescott, Arizona. And I spent every single day for a month in there. I actually learned how to write pretty decent CCC estimates in probably like 3 days, but I was busting it. And then ever since then, that gave me like the foundational knowledge, which I 100% firmly believe you cannot get just by going to a school or doing the CCC training. No. You need to get into a body shop, and not just any body shop. You need to get into probably an independent body shop who is good at writing estimates, that knows how to write. Exactly. Don't go into I can't tell you how many people who I've heard is like, yeah, I've been an estimator at CarStar for 20 years. I'm like, shit, man, it doesn't mean jack. It doesn't mean anything. And as a matter of fact, because we have fairly regularly people asking us if we have any any positions, and we don't. But fairly regularly people will say something like, I've been an estimator at CarStar for 20 years or whatever. And I'm like, you'd probably have been better off not even saying that, because now I know for 20 years you've been learning bad habits that it's going to take more time and energy to untrain than it will take to even train you on our normal processes. So, yeah.
Oh, man. That'd be quite the class, Gene. I mean, you pretty much were talking all the stuff that's required processes that aren't included, and knowing all that off the top of your head while you're writing it and looking at the P pages and all this stuff. I mean, you're probably better off, if Dent Ops was hiring a writer, you're better off hiring an ex-body tech than a writer.
Yeah.
Honestly, because we're the ones that actually care about that taller figure and all this stuff and all the fluff, and we're the ones getting angry at the writers for not writing it. So it's
exactly. You can think through all of the things that are actually going to go into the repair.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about the insurance guy who's going to call and say, oh, I don't want to pay that much. It's like, it doesn't matter. This is what it takes. This is what it is. A, B, C. We did all this. We took pictures. Pay us. It's that mentality. Whereas the writer's just like, oh, well, you're only $200 off. I guess that's good enough. And it's like,
right.
That's my $200. But anyway, so it's a different mentality, and that there are classes for writing. So I worked at a shop that would send their writers out for advanced writing, and they came back super skilled after a couple weeks. I mean, they had to keep up with it, and they had to keep their research and do their classing, and the classes and training is constant development. But there are trainings for that. I wish I knew the name of it.
We do continued trainings. Collision Advice has some pretty good trainings. And then Collision
is the best.
With
Mike Anderson.
With Mike Anderson, And then we've done some training stuff through Collision Hub as well, just some of the resources and courses that they have also. So they have some pretty good stuff. We've gone through all of SCRS has the complete guide to repair planning, which is a really great basically like a checklist that you can go through just to make sure you're not missing anything. So that what learning inside of the shop, which was cool because they were independent for most people, except they were a DRP for State Farm. But they were like the kind of DRP that's like, no, we're going to push it. Like, you made the mistake of giving us DRP status almost. We're going to push it. And so I got to learn the estimating for pretty much everybody else, and then also estimating for some DRP stuff to okay, how can you still be compliant, but almost barely.
There are ways. I mean, you just got to split it up. And I've always said this to all writers. I said, writing is creative. You have to be creative, and we're not lying here. We're just getting paid for what we're doing. But if that's what you got to do it a certain way to get it through a DRP contract, do it that way. We need that dollar figure at the bottom to match up to with what we're doing. So no, that's absolutely, that's great. But I like what Gene said. He just pays Dent Ops to do it and doesn't worry about it. That's why they exist.
That's exactly why we exist. When I created Dent Ops, there were a couple of motivations behind it. One, I was seeing my then girlfriend, now wife, and I was like, it's one thing for me. Like, I grew up in a family where it was normal to get a phone call and then within 48 hours be traveling to the other side of the country, right? It was normal. And my family's all like fairly type A also. Like, we just kind of roll with it. Not normal for her family, who, both of her parents have been, and for however many generations, have done 9 to 5s for like their whole life. There's normalcy there, right? And so that was a huge, it was a struggle for us, talking about the family stuff and traveling. It was really hard, every year when I'd have to, go out. And I think I was chasing for like 3 years while we were dating. And it was really, really tough. And so that was part of the motivation. And then the other motivation was like, I want a solution. I want to create the solution that I wish that I had, and that me and, like I said, I have a lot of friends and family, especially in the industry now. I want to create the solution that I wish we all had while we were traveling. Like, it was great when Cam could write these one-off estimates. What if we had a solution where we could do it on all of the estimates and like maximize these things and then expand? Like, we do claims management now as well. So we can literally take it. We even have like an estimating software now. So we can take it all the way from scoping the car to doing the full scrub and getting it into CCC and just doing everything, to submitting it to the insurance company and doing all the administration and negotiating that claim with the adjusters and the insurance company all the way through approval. And then basically say, hey, you're good to go. And then, just like what you were saying, get extra documentation. They're getting a lot of pushback for this stuff. Snap photos, snap your in-process photos, just give them to us afterwards. We're going to supplement for the rest of this stuff. So that's been kind of like the whole journey full circle and getting to where we were, but it's 100% rooted in being out there and doing the thing.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I still love, we try to every year get out to, around a dozen or so operations, different hail operations. Cause it's just, there's nothing that really replaces like being in the shop and hanging out with everybody in there and, just kind of like shooting the shit and just being there. So it's fun, and it helps us, do research and development and have a good time and link up with people that we like. So
do you gain anything by going to MTE?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
My favorite parts of MTE, actually having the booth. Like, we have a booth. The last 2 years we had a booth, and we'll have one this year also. That's nice, more because we get to like people who we work with. So much of the time we're just talking to them on the phone or via email or text or whatever. And so actually getting to put a face to a name is really nice, and getting to hear about people's experience. MTE has been so far. Typically when people get feedback, it's going to be negative feedback, right? It's usually what you hear about.
Sure, that's what MTE, you see the reviews for.
Yeah, although we have great reviews, fantastic reviews, and we don't get a ton of negative feedback, thank God. But MTE is where we really get a lot of positive feedback, because when we see people in person, then we have the opportunity where we normally don't really, where they can be like, look, you guys made a huge impact to our business, or like, you helped us get an awesome win on this one claim. And we can actually hear that kind of stuff. We don't usually hear that outside of the event and in person. So that's really cool. But Education Day, so we sponsored it last year. We're sponsoring it this year, and I think we'll just perpetually sponsor it. I love Education Day. I love being able to take whatever we learn and just being able to share it with people and help teach people and just help, hopefully elevate everybody. So that's a lot of fun. And then I guess, just the networking, linking up with people who we haven't either met before, or that we've, it's been a while. It's a really cool, it's a growing industry. Like, hail and PDR in general is growing, but it's still kind of small, like it's still, it's a niche, weird how you run into people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a niche group.
It is. It seems a lot bigger when you're on social medias and you're friends with everybody and you see what they're doing. And then you go outside in your local market and you're like, wow, nobody knows what's going on here. So
nobody even knows what PDR is.
Dial this in. I'm so used to everybody knowing what I'm doing. Now I have to circle back and make these small little arguments for people and show them, teach them every little detail, which you're currently not used to outside of social media. So that's one thing for me that when I started my business last year, going around and kind of seeing what that was like, learning for myself and being confident enough to show everybody else in process what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Plus, people want to watch you. When you go to somebody's house, they're pulling up a chair, they got their hat on, they're telling you stories. They're going to show you whatever they're doing. They get whatever, if it's the new driveway they just got, or if it's a new vehicle they got, or whatever, they're going to talk about it. And you have to kind of be able to carry on conversations while fixing damage. And man, it's a totally different world.
It's completely different.
Especially tough when you're still like a newbie to PDR, and I have to think about like every move and push that I make, and someone's just going, I thought about putting a turbo on there, but I'm like, I can't even talk to you about that right now.
It's mesmerizing. It's almost like looking at fire, like for people who aren't used to it, it's like you see it. I do love, I'm not the one who has to be pushing the dents, but I do love, like, when you talk to a customer, like, how does it work? Do they use the dry ice or the plunger or whatever? And you're like, no, come look. And they got it out there right now. And, they got it under the lights and somebody's out there just like pushing, working it up. Like, you see it moving. They're like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's the dent. It's gone. The dent's gone.
And you look at the dent and you're like, it's very much still there.
You're like, I'm not gonna burst their bubble, but it's not quite gone.
You're like, we just got to clean it up just a small, tiny bit, and then it's done. It's done.
I love it when they say that. That's nice.
Oh
I'm done.
You're right.
You're right. Yeah.
I had a story this morning when I was out. Fixing a dent, and I get up to the vehicle, and the guy's out here hoeing grass out of his concrete driveway. He's cutting it up, and he's like, I got a pretty cool story talking about his concrete. He's like, the guy that come out and done this, actually, he was brand new at his business, because I told him I haven't been doing mine but just a little over a year, but I've been in the trade for a while. So he kind of telling me about the guy doing his concrete, and he's like, actually, this guy that poured this concrete got run over by a front end loader. He's like, they had to get like a 9-foot coffin to get him in there because it flattened the dude out. And all while I'm over here just glue pulling. So that face that you have right there, that's the face that I got the whole time. So,
that's insane. What? You're like, how am I supposed to focus on this now?
Right. I'm glad it was it wasn't nothing just super difficult. It was just a door ding, nothing crazy. But it was a glue pull only. And while I'm sitting here doing this, I'm just like, what? All right. You never really know. And he brings up a chair and sits down, and he's just looking and wanting to talk about tools and whatever. And it's become normal. But when you get to when you first start out, that's like really, really nerve-wracking, and it can be tough to overcome. I guess like anything else. But
I love this. Chris says the favorite one I hear is, I was told if I left it in the sun, the dents will pop out. So go ahead and try that. Let me know when that works.
I had a guy tell me that one time.
I also got to say, Jared over on Instagram says he remembers specifically talking to Noah at MTE, probably 2022. Jared Kirk. Great Jared. Great conversation. Love what he's doing to help people. So definitely making an impact here.
I appreciate it. I think Jared's out there in Arizona, if I remember right.
Oh God.
I mean,
I've had to. I won't. I'm gonna leave that there.
I bet we could gather up some seriously crazy stories.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bet you we could. Yeah.
Trips.
Maybe that sounds like a Facebook post and ask for
Yeah.
comments with some
that
stories.
would be
We'll read
cool. We
through
could
them.
read a few of these out. Like,
All right.
before,
So yeah,
that would be fun.
Keep a lookout for the post on Smash Masters. We'll be asking for the
That would be
mobile
good.
dent
I would be
repair
interested.
stories.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
That would be a great one.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
it's time.
It's time, guys.
time.
Come on, get some
Time
right
to
here.
Pick the winners. We don't care about pet prescriptions. Sorry about the ads. All right. So I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Just spin it, and we'll get a number. And all right, ready? Like, subscribe.
Wow.
Oh, we got a good one.
Yeah.
Gregory.
Yeah, nice.
Greg Schouten is the winner of the Stormbreaker Dent Vision Tools. That's a great person to win this. I hope he doesn't have one already.
Congratulations, brother.
Because there's probably a good chance that he does have one already. Although he entered the giveaway, so maybe not.
Maybe not. Who knows? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Sweet.
Congrats to Gregory.
Well, congratulations, Chris. Oh, there. Nick's saying, "Let's go, Chris. You're gonna have to buy one."
I think Chris
get on that Anson PDR app tonight. Go buy one. Gene says, "Congrats."
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, Noah, thanks for coming on the show. This was very enlightening. I mean, it's I think you're the first person we've had on that's not an actual tech, like PDR tech. At all, or body tech. But
heck yeah, diversification.
That was really, you were an R&I tech, so you were tech.
I was a tech. I worked on the cars. Actually, I wanted to mention similar to you, like you were talking about how with estimating, because of your background, or body techs in general, you know what's going on. I feel like that's been similar with the R&I, because like I feel like I've got almost X-ray vision into like all of the different R&Is and operations that are going to need. I know how to gut this door, and so I know everything that's going to go through with it. So, anyways, just a little side note, remembered. But
that's right. I'm sorry, Alex said we had him on. He's not a tech.
Heck yeah,
he's a tool guy.
You're not the first, but yep, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, when you're a body tech, like Nissan Optimus plastic radiator supports, if they're aftermarket, they're gonna have a bow in them. The hood's not gonna shut right. You're gonna have trouble. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way now. Yeah, but you have to fight that argument.
Yep. When you've had your hands deep in the cars, it makes it so much easier to let people know what's going to happen, and that's what estimating is letting people know what's going to happen. So
guess how many of the insurance adjusters have had their hands in the cars?
Right.
Like none of them.
Almost none. I've seen a lot of brand new guys that are wherever they pick these guys up, they are super green
right out of college.
They either have never done it before, or ironically enough, they were a body tech for 30 years, and so they know everything that goes into this. Which it's just people talking out of their butts. But
for sure.
Anyways, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a fun time getting to know you guys a little bit more, also. And,
absolutely. It flew by. I mean, hour went by so fast. I mean,
I know.
Great. It's a lot of learning experiences that you've had went away that you've gotten to share, and that's some awesome stuff. I hope we get to learn more from you in the future.
Definitely. Hit me up anytime, and happy to come on anytime. And if I start a show, I'll probably have you guys come on too.
Awesome.
Not planning on it, but if it happens, I'll let you know.
That's good.
For sure.
And we'll see you at MTE for sure. We'll be there.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll be at that one.
All right, everybody. Well, y'all wasted another good hour listening to Smash Masters. Thank you.
Appreciate everybody for coming out.
We will see you next week.
Yes, sir. See you guys.
Bye everybody.
of love.